And she has been in office and not had the urgency that is required. This is an emergency in this country.
An NBC News analyst stunned the panel on NBC's Meet the Press when she actually showed urgency to deal with climate change. Now, before I get to the clip from NBC's Meet the Press, I have to show you the clip that they reference in that piece, which is when the kids with the Sunrise Movement went to Dianne Feinstein's office to try to get her to support the Green New Deal. And here's a clip of what happened.
I've gotten elected. I just ran. I was elected by almost 1 million vote plurality. And I know what I'm doing. So, you know, maybe people should listen a little bit.
I hear what you're saying, but we're the people who voted you. You're supposed to listen to us. That's your
How old are you?
job.
How old
I'm
are you?
16. I
Well,
can't
you didn't vote for me.
Well, I'm
voting
she
for
voted.
It doesn't
matter. We're the ones who are going to be impacted.
Something.
All right, so Feinstein clearly looks terrible in this video. Now, again, that isn't the whole thing. I did a whole story on this already, but here is amazingly, so before I even get to the clip, amazingly, there were liberals, like establishment people on television, in mainstream media, defending Dianne Feinstein here. Now, that's what makes this clip I'm about to show you so powerful. So this is Heather C. McGhee. She's a senior fellow at Demos and an NBC News analyst. Here is her response to this clip on NBC's Meet the Press.
Why are we attacking Democrats is what people say, but they're also absolutely...
The 80-20. You're 80% with, but 100%, 20% against.
Exactly.
But they don't post videos, though. They haven't posted videos outside McConnell.
They actually have, but they just haven't gone viral. So one of the things that I think is so important about this is that it's a difference of urgency. For someone who's 7 years old, we just sat here talking about the Clinton impeachment like it was yesterday. At that time, 20 years from now in the future, we will have all coral reefs gone in this country. It's something that I think most people who are thinking about their children right now, I'm sorry I'm getting emotional, but Dianne Feinstein has been great. And she has been in office and not had the urgency that is required. This is an emergency in this country. It's an emergency on this planet. There's no higher responsibility of anyone who has any kind of political power right now than to try to stop a global catastrophe that's not happening in 3 generations. It's happening now.
I agree with you, though, but Heather, she's got legislation she's working on.
It's not going to solve the problem.
Look, I don't even get there.
Is the new Green Deal going to solve the problem?
The entire actual policy platform, if you look at the think tanks that have gone
I agree with the
behind it,
hopes behind it, but don't you have to work on a bill?
It's not a question of hopes. It's a question of, is there going to be a reality for our children and their children's children? We can't say it's too aspirational. It's the planet.
All right. Yeah, this is the reason why this is so powerful to watch is because this is not what you hear on NBC. This is not what you hear on any cable news network, on any news network. They don't talk about the real urgency for climate change in this sort of way. Sure, they'll do the occasional story on climate change, but you really don't. I don't think people really feel the impact and the urgency needed until you have somebody talking off the cuff like Heather C. McGhee did here on NBC's Meet the Press. So, and my God, the response from Andrea Mitchell. Andrea Mitchell, she hosts the 12 p.m. noon time slot on MSNBC. She has a prime time slot on MSNBC, and she doesn't even understand the need to really address climate change. Every time I happen to turn the TV on and she's on during my lunch hour, it's just, she is so terrible. It's hard to communicate how terrible Andrea Mitchell is until you actually watch her. Not even just her as a news person, her performance. I mean, she's incredibly boring, but put that aside. The information she delivers, she always comes from this place of privilege. She really has no clue. I mean, just to give you an idea, in that clip, she talked about, but they haven't been protesting outside Mitch McConnell's office. Actually, they have. So here's a tweet saying, these kids waited outside Mitch McConnell's office all week during his Senate recess when he was supposed to be home in Kentucky. They traveled to D.C. to find him there. Kentucky needs a Green New Deal. Our generation needs a Green New Deal. Andrea Mitchell doesn't do her basic homework. And here she is pushing back on somebody on the panel actually properly communicating the urgency to deal with climate change and the need for a Green New Deal. I mean, it's one thing if Andrea Mitchell actually knew what she was talking about, but she's making claims without even knowing they are true. So imagine she made that claim and Heather C. McGhee wasn't there. It was somebody else. People would just believe, oh yeah, why aren't they protesting outside Mitch McConnell's office? When they have. But this is what you get consistently with people like Andrea Mitchell. So again, hats off to Heather C. McGhee here on Meet the Press. And just, it is, this show in particular, of all the Sunday shows, Meet the Press is one of the worst. Their panel is usually completely terrible. Just completely full of people who are millionaires, who have connections to big money interests, who are lobbyists, people that always offer the mainstream, the establishment point of view. They rarely ever have actual progressives on. But thankfully, in this case, there was somebody on here to properly educate people on the need to deal with climate change.